Well, what are we doing? Are we giving up on this show? Are we giving up on Lucifer and the Biscuit Hammer? It just feels like there is a lot of negativity around this show, and that really sucks. Like I said before, Satoshi Mizukami, I trust this writer. I trust this writer to do something really incredible, and it doesn't seem like, unfortunately, really anybody wants to give it the time of day or some patience. So yeah, the ratings on this show already are going down the hill, which really sucks because comparatively to the manga itself, has a lot of high scores. I mean, this is nearly 9.0 on Miami list on the manga side, and then on the anime side, it's less than 7. So it really does suck. It really does. And this is going to be a show that I'm going to be watching all the way through it. I really do trust that Satoshi Mizukami has something really good inside the story. And plus, a lot of outpour of some fans of the source material have already been speaking out in my comments and stuff, which I think is fantastic. It gives me a lot of hope for what's to come because, like I've said before, I really love Planet With. And so my assumption was that Mizukami is going to do something great with this as well. And everybody's like, yeah, this is actually better than Planet With. This is a really incredible story. So I'm going to hold hope that even if Naz does a terrible job adapting this, at least the story is going to be good in it. It was really interesting to hear that Mizukami is actually doing like live tweeting as the show is airing, which I got to look at it for this particular episode. But yeah, apparently for episode 1, he expressed some dissatisfaction with the idea that they cut you obviously seeing something when Sensei's skirt got flown up. But that was kind of funny to learn. But it did seem like he mentioned specifically that he's really kind of pushing Naz. Like, he really wants them to do a good job. And so it does at least seem like from his end that he's trying to give that encouragement. Like, you guys, you can do better, essentially. It's hard to see then the translations unless you get somebody to actually do a actual translation. Just using Twitter to translate, sometimes a lot of meaning gets lost in there. But it's still interesting to see that he notes that there's some rough edges and that he at least wants them to do better. So hopefully that means Naz will do better going forward. It really did seem like episode 2 looked a lot better. Obviously, still the action scenes aren't like, we're not looking at like a foodable stuff here, but it does look like the quality has gone up quite a bit. I actually took the time to go back and forth between the manga, what he's saying, and the anime this time around for episode 2, and seen some really interesting differences. Especially one thing that Mizukami himself mentioned is that they cut a character. So in the manga, at some point, before he gets attacked by the golem at the riverside, he was actually out on a date with somebody. And he's trying to figure out how he can ditch this person because, you know, his princess is going to be off school here soon, obviously talking about Samidare. And at some point, they run into a golem while he's on a date with this girl, and he ditches her. Mizukami mentioned that they cut her because even for him, in the original source material, he didn't really know what to do with her. So they decided just to cut her. So obviously, yes, as a character that's not present in the anime, but again, from Mizukami himself, this is a useless character, so we just cut him. But it was funny that Mizukami said that he actually himself told the production team to have the golem look left and right before he crossed the road. When I read that, I lost it. I'm like, because I noticed that, because when the golem's on the other side of the road and he just runs, you see the golem looks left and right, and then he crosses the road. It was just kind of one of those goofy things of like, why? It's fun. It was cute. It was funny that despite the fact they cut the first shot of the sensei, they didn't cut it in the second episode, so he was probably okay about that. But interesting that he didn't mention that Samidare had a shot as well in this episode when she did the drop kick on the golem. In the manga, she was wearing a skirt. In the anime, she was wearing shorts. So, and we got to miss that she had animal pantsu on, which was cute. But no, all the comments and everything aside, fun episode. I do want to express honest opinion here. I am really excited for this because of Mizukami. And I'm giving it patience because of Mizukami. Despite the Naz doing not a great job, despite the fact that, yes, sometimes the dialogue gets a little cheesy, I know that there's something in here. But yes, I will admit, certain conversations kind of feels weird. Having Samidare basically say, I want to destroy the world because I'm going to die eventually and I want the world to die with me because otherwise I don't own it. It's very cheesy. But again, I'm hoping that eventually it's kind of described. They obviously see is that she's psychotic. Like, this chick is off her rockers, but she's a princess, so we have to support her. But she is sort of like Lucifer, so her words grab me. It's kind of one of those moments of insanity. Like, everybody's kind of crazy in this setting. So yes, while the dialogue seems kind of off-putting to a normal person, it will hopefully, as it goes along, make sense. A sign that that's already true is that Yuhi, he's crazy at the very beginning. He seems like he's so disjointed from everybody else. He doesn't want to get involved with anything. He seems very off-puttish. And suddenly out of nowhere, he has this random encounter in his own mind with his grandfather chaining him down. Well, guess what? We're getting that explanation. This is this abuse that his grandfather placed upon him, locking him up for 3 days and 3 nights, chained up in a room by himself just for having a friend. That's the sign that this makes sense. And again, I think with Samidare, we're eventually going to get that as well. Yeah, she's a little off her rocker. She's a little crazy, but at the same time, she's technically been given a power. She's been given a spirit within her that has a power, and I think it's affecting her in some way. And again, I think that sign that, similar to Planet With, as it goes along, things make more sense, and the layers start peeling off, and everything starts to get more and more interesting as it goes along. And I'm already seeing that with this show. So despite the fact that it's getting bad ratings, despite the fact that people are poo-pooing it because it doesn't look amazing, I still think there's still, and I will agree, I still think in the end there's going to be something really fascinating here. And I'm already seeing that progress happen with Yuhi. I love that it kind of opens up with the show itself and the idea that he doesn't trust anybody, he doesn't want to get involved with anything, he's very selfish. And the moment that these enchanting words hit him, he suddenly devotes himself to some random person. And then as it gets in the second episode, you see him getting very comfortable with that person. Friendships. He is somebody that's never really had friendships because he was afraid of it. Now he's getting a taste of it, and he can't let it go. He's tasted it, it's sweet, and he doesn't want to let it go. Despite the fact that his grandfather's trauma is still trying to pull him back into it, he's accepting this is better. And I love the later scene in the second episode and the idea that she says, go see your grandfather. Well, I can't because all this stuff happened and I'm afraid. And if I go back there, I feel like those chains will come back. And her response is, if you come back and you're hurt or you're chained, I'll break it all. I'll destroy it all. Giving him that confidence once again that even if you get dragged back down, even if you get pulled away from this sweet flavor that you're feeling right now, I will destroy it all. I will be the one that pulls you back into it. Again, going back to the words of Lucifer, I at this point, with the ending of the first episode and him actually describing her as Lucifer and her words being so sweet enough to enchant him, I still believe at this point I don't trust Samidare. Like, there's something inside of her. And again, I'll be very curious to see if is it an after effect of what is inside of her? Is it her own juvenile self being kind of wrapped up in the power that she's been given? Or is it a combination of both? What is actually in Samidare's head? She seems really sweet. She seems like a sweet girl. She's willing to help him. She wants to protect him. She wants him to protect her. She wants him to take her to the hammer. All this stuff. She loves the earth so much, yet she wants to destroy it. It's like, that's the thing I'm hoping will be really interesting as it slowly uncovers that stuff. What is in her head? What is making her tick? Why is she insane even to her own knights? Why is she insane? That's the stuff that, again, Mizukami is good at. He is good at this stuff, and I cannot wait to see it unravel. Yes, it could end up being stupid, but I think based on the feedback that a lot of people have been getting on the source material, I know it's gonna do something. It's gonna pull that off again. Anyway, that's my thoughts on episode 2 of Lucifer and the Biscuit Hammer. Definitely enjoyed this show so far, and I'm looking forward to more of it. If you guys like this video, make sure to hit that like button down below. Comment. Let me know what's thought of the episode. Are you a big fan of the original source material? Are you not, and you're getting into the anime? I really would love to hear from you guys. I know a lot of people gave me feedback on the first video. I definitely appreciate it, but I'm very curious to hear from people. Is it Naz that you think is making the ratings for the show so terrible? Do you think that people just don't find the toony kind of goofy dialogue to be the off-putting thing? Do you think that there's some people that just think that it's a childish show, just like we had with Planet With, honestly? I'd be curious to know what you guys think is like the thing that's really bogging down this anime. Additionally, if you're new to the channel, I'd appreciate if you would hit that subscribe button so you get all my content. I do news, reviews, first impressions, episode by episode impressions, including with this show. If it's anime, it's pretty much on this channel. Additionally, if you want to support the channel more, we have a Patreon link, a super thanks button, and a tips link down below. I definitely appreciate everybody that considers supporting us, and y'all take care.